Today I prepared just a brief video about the types of toys that you could use in a portable play therapy bag to use in modified counseling settings. So for example, I'm thinking about mental health professionals who work for agencies and are contracted to go work with young children in schools. Or mental health professionals who do counseling in home with young children, or maybe even mental health professionals who have an office but don't have the luxury of an extra space to have a play therapy room. In situations like that, a portable play therapy bag might be of benefit, and this is the bag that I use. I use all of the toys that I need to facilitate a play therapy session are housed in this bag. They fit in here. This particular bag has wheels on it, which I think makes it easier to tote. And let's take a second and look inside and see what we have. These are the types of toys that are appropriate for a portable play therapy tote. You'll notice that they are grouped into categories, and there's some labels here to show you what those categories are. These toys are generic, so you're not going to find Superman or Spider-Man or a Ninja Turtle in here. The toys should be just basic and generic. These toys are also inexpensive. Many of these toys were purchased at a dollar store, at the grocery store, or Goodwill, and that's important because I don't have an emotional attachment to these toys. If they need to be replaced, or it's not going to challenge my regard with a child if a child breaks one of the toys, and it's not too financially burdensome to replace some of these toys. There are 5 basic child-centered play therapy skills. The first is reflecting feeling, and I would also include reflecting wants, desires, motives, and intentions, but the real emphasis is on reflecting the essence of a child's experience, the feelings. Facilitating decision-making, facilitating esteem, setting limits, and then enlarging meaning. The overarching purpose of all of these skills is to promote self-directedness, to promote self-regulation, emotional self-regulation, behavioral self-regulation, and to some extent attentional self-regulation and frustration tolerance, self-efficacy, and the creation of an emotional language so that children can identify what it is that they're feeling and verbalize what it is that they're feeling, as opposed to acting out what their feelings are. Interestingly, there's a wealth of research that indicates that these characteristics are commonly associated with school success. Here are some examples. I'll do one example for each skill, and I'll explain the importance of the skill. A child squeals with delight and starts spinning in a circle, and the therapist reflects, "You're really enjoying yourself. Spinning is fun." This is a reflection of feeling. The reason why we reflect feelings in play therapy is because we want children to be able to identify what it is that they're feeling, and then be able to verbalize what it is that they're feeling, so that they can use their words instead of having to act out on their emotional experience. Number 2, a child points to the pickup sticks and says, "What are you supposed to do with these?" And the therapist responds, "Well, in here you can decide." This is facilitating decision making. In play therapy, we believe that it's very important to create or to facilitate children's understanding that they have the capacity to make choices and decisions and to take responsibility for the choices that they make. Number 3, the child carefully stacks up the blocks, and when she's finished, she says, "Look at that!" And the therapist explains, "You're delighted, you got it just how you wanted." This is an example of facilitating esteem and encouragement. A big part of play therapy is to help build a sense of efficaciousness for young children, so they get the sense that they are capable of accomplishing things. And so we a lot of times acknowledge effort, but we don't praise product. Number 4, with a big, huge, genuine smile on her face, a child is practicing karate chops. And she says, "I know karate and I'll chop you." And she starts to swing her hand in a chopping motion. And the therapist says, "I can see that you're excited, but I'm not for chopping. You could choose to chop this pillow, or you could choose to chop in the air." This is an example of limit setting. And the reason why we use limit setting is because it's an opportunity for children to practice self-regulation. We set limits minimally, and limits are set to protect the safety of the child, the safety of the therapist, or the safety of the environment. But it gives them an opportunity to learn to self-regulate. Notice that we also offer a choice, so they still have some level of self-determination. Number 5. A young girl is holding a small doll in her hands. It's wrapped in a blanket. She's rocking it back and forth, and she says, "No one loves me or cares about me or takes me to the park or helps me with my homework." The therapist responds, "You feel sad because you wish you could spend more time with your mom." This is an example of enlarging meaning. It's enlarging meaning because it's a reflection of her emotive state and her needs and wants that were not directly expressed by her. And it's based on a contextual understanding that she lives at home with her mom, who works 2 jobs, who reports feeling exhausted and having a limited amount of time to spend with her young daughter.